Today I'm sharing my journey as the founder of Digital Yoga Academy, having built an online business that's generated over $1 million in online course sales. Pinch myself. Yes, I pinch myself when I say that. So I'm going to be talking numbers, launches, failures, lessons, but mostly I want to celebrate with you guys today. Okay, so I want to celebrate this milestone. Of course, we have to celebrate our wins. I want to celebrate this milestone, and I want to celebrate you here in this community, and all of our incredible students and all of your incredible students. You are showing up here every day in your business, and I know that that's not easy. I know that it's not easy, guys, and I also know that it's incredibly rewarding. I'm honored, absolutely honored, that I get to support you, that I get to support all of you in different ways, whether you are, listening to the podcast every single week, or, you're downloading one of our freebies, or you're joining us inside one of our online programs. I get to support you in those ways. And so I really just want to say thank you, really, for being here. This milestone that I'm talking about today, it involves you. Reaching $1 million is no easy feat. And so today I really want to share, what this has looked like, over the years. And my hope really for today's session is to inspire you and to really show you what's possible when you get online and when you dedicate yourself to creating and launching online offerings. Do you have an online offering? Is it a membership? Are you offering an online course? Are you offering a one-to-one program? Do you have a subscription? What do you offer that's online right now for your students? Do you offer online workshops? And having this online business, it has many benefits. Like being your own boss has many benefits. I absolutely love having an online business because it allows me to have freedom in so many areas, like not just financially, but also in terms of my time. Okay, in terms of my time, I get to choose when I sit to my laptop, when I get to go and do my, wellness and my gym and the yoga and everything else that I'm doing in my day. I get to choose when I do those things. And also, in terms of allowing me the freedom to work from my laptop, anywhere in the world. And of course, there's freedom in this business model, okay, this online business model, because having an online offering such as an online course, it truly does allow you to break through your income potential, right? It gives you more freedom and space to earn more, right? It lifts the ceiling, as they say. It gives you more potential to earn more. And so, as I said at the start, sometimes I have to pinch myself. I really do. And, it was actually back in July of this year, so July 2022, where we'd got to $1.1 million in course sales revenue, okay, in a 5-year period. And I'm talking about revenue here, guys, revenue, not income. Revenue is the money that comes directly from students, okay, so the actual sales revenue, so before costs are deducted, okay, that's the income that you're left with. So income is revenue minus sales. And so this is where we have another benefit, right, of having an online business, is that your costs are less. Yeah, your costs are less. And I know this, I also have a business called Good Yoga Life, okay? I have somebody else running this business now, but that was my very first yoga business that focuses predominantly on, yoga retreats and events. And those those offerings have a lot of costs involved. You know, you've got venues and, you know, chefs and staff and everything that makes up, you know, a yoga retreat operating successfully. There's many more costs involved. And so I know how these business models compare. And, you know, reaching this milestone was really something. You know, I feel so grateful for my business, and I feel so grateful for my students and this amazing community that you guys make up. And so, you know, it's a win-win really. You know, I get to help you and impact your life, okay, which is a massive win for you. I also get to build a business that creates impact in my life too. So it really is a win-win scenario. It doesn't come without, you know, hard work, grit, consistency, all of those things and so much more that has resulted in building this business and reaching this milestone. And, you know, the rewards are there, like it pays off. Like each year gets easier in a way. Yeah, each year that you're in business, it does get easier. Okay, and of course there are new challenges. Like as you level up, there are new challenges. Like the challenges that I face now in my business, you know, almost 6 years in, are not the same ones that I was facing when I was just starting out. And so it's a journey, you know, but it still gets easier in a sense because you become more knowledgeable as a business owner and more sophisticated as a business owner in a way. You're able to deal with these challenges in a more sophisticated way and with more ease. So, you know, if you're like most yoga teachers, you'll know the hustle and the grind that comes with, you know, transitioning from your day job, from your 9 to 5 to, you know, becoming a yoga business owner. And so you've already experienced what it feels to kind of level up from, you know, the 9 to 5 to being your own boss. And maybe you've also experienced, you know, growing your yoga business and going from being a yoga teacher to becoming a thriving yogipreneur, you know, with a business that's actually starting to pay your bills and give you that freedom that we're all looking for. So, you know, the fact is, no matter where you are in your journey, you're always going to be moving to the next level and moving through these, you know, challenges and moving through your comfort zone. It takes persistence, it takes courage, and it takes time. And so, you know, I think I encourage you to not compare yourself to anyone else, right? Never compare yourself, never compare your journey to the journey of someone else, because we all have our own journey. And, you know, when you start doing that, then you start to bring in all the doubts and the fears and everything else that comes with it. So let me tell you a bit more about my journey then. Before I became my own boss, before I actually stepped into this world of entrepreneurship, and, you know, I was climbing the corporate ladder for many, many years, far too long really. I was 15 years in a demanding marketing career that saw me in many different sectors and, you know, managing teams, managing big budgets, all of the things that I thought I wanted in that career, you know, all of the things that had been driving me for many years and the success that I thought I wanted, but actually resulted in me feeling burnt out and misaligned really. And, you know, I had this strong desire for a long time to want to work for myself, but I didn't know what that looked like. So in 2015, I joined a yoga teacher training. Okay, yoga had been a big part of my life for about 10 years by that point. And I joined the teacher training to deepen my practice. Okay, I wasn't going there with the intention to become a yoga teacher. But soon after, I discovered that I wanted to share yoga with others. You know, within a few months after graduating from my YTT, I quit my job. So I quit my job and I started on that journey to really pursue this dream that I'd had for a number of years to build my own business. And I put everything into it. I really did, you know, and of course it helped that I had a marketing background, okay? That definitely helped. So within a year, I set up Good Yoga Life, and within a year, this brand that I'd built had become well known in the London yoga space, okay? And I put that down to one key thing, and that thing is collaborations. Right? I was getting myself out there, I was getting myself known, I was working with other brands, other businesses, other teachers, and I was networking. You know, I was being seen, I was being visible, I was doing everything that I could to get my name out there. And so, you know, within a number of years, I'd gone on to sell out 25 retreats from Ibiza to Bali. I taught hundreds of classes in London, hosted dozens of unique yoga events that, you know, captured the media attention and the attention of brands that wanted to work with me. And I'd really gone from this kind of hustling yoga teacher who was teaching loads of classes every single week to a thriving yogipreneur. You know, I was living life on my terms, being my own boss, traveling to gorgeous locations, and I'd built up a community that I could really call my own. So it was amazing. You know, I loved those years. I absolutely loved those years. And really, you know, it's the yoga teacher life that many teachers dream of, yet they struggle to make it happen. And, you know, I saw that in the space. I saw my yoga teacher friends struggling to make that happen. And so in 2017, so just a couple of years later, I started working on Digital Yoga Academy. And I'd actually had the idea for Digital Yoga Academy when I was doing my yoga teacher training. Okay, we had this like 1 hour marketing lesson, which was like, you know, what to put on your yoga flyer or something like that. And of course, you guys know this, right? From going through your own teacher trainings, you'll know. I mean, likely it was 0 or maybe a couple of hours if you were lucky. It clearly doesn't prepare you for starting your own business. In those 2 years, I'd built up my own business, right? I built up Good Yoga Life. I was making a good amount of money by this point, selling out my retreats, selling out all of my in-person offerings, but I was at capacity, right? I was at capacity. You know, the maximum number of retreats I did in 1 year was 10. I mean, that's a lot of retreats. They were sold out. Couldn't really do any more retreats than that, you know, in terms of my own energy and time. You know, I couldn't do any more than that. And you know, I was juggling a lot of things as well. I was starting to build Digital Yoga Academy at the same time. I was running, you know, a couple of events each month. My classes were at capacity. And so what I knew was the potential of the online space. You know, the yoga teachers that were making it big, you know, at the time when I'd look online and I'd see other yoga teachers that were, let's face it, killing it in the online space, they were the ones who had online memberships, they had online courses, they had apps, you know, they'd moved away from this in-person model, from this studio model, or from the model of, you know, just having their own classes in a community hall, let's say, or, you know, running retreats. And I'm not saying here don't offer those things. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is that if you want to scale, if you want to grow beyond that limitation, then online is the answer. So, you know, as a digital marketer, you know, I knew the space, right? I knew the strategies. I also knew how to build and create a community because I'd already done it. I'd done it already. So I had that idea sitting there, it was sitting there on my shoulder from my yoga teacher training. It was sitting there for almost 2 years. It kept talking to me. And then I was like, okay, now it's time. Now it's time. So I set it into motion, building an online business where I could support yoga teachers to build their own online businesses, and so that they could move out of the studios, so that they could move away from just setting up their classes in community halls, and instead they could start to reach students all over the world. And so I saw that potential, and I wanted that, for my yoga teacher friends and for other teachers in this incredible community of yoga teachers around the world, so that they can share yoga with more people. If we can get yoga out there more, then more people get to benefit from yoga. And so again, it's going back to this win-win all the time. It's a win-win. And those early days, the start of 2017, I was just so enthusiastic. Like, I was like, okay, I'm ready, let's do this. And I couldn't wait to do it, So I started building my website. Like, this was in January 2017. And as I was building it, I was also recording the content for my first online course, okay, which was, guess what it was? Build your yoga websites with WordPress, which is exactly what I was doing at the time, right? I was building my website. I'd already built a website for my other yoga business, so I kind of knew what I was doing, and I was doing it as I was going. Okay, you can do this, guys. Remember, you just have to be a few steps ahead of your students, really. Sometimes we get so stuck that we have to be this, like, the world's best expert to put something out there. No, you have gifts, you have a purpose. You just have to be ahead of your students, and you can teach people the journey that you've been on yourself, So, I'd been learning about online course production, and I started to record my first online course, as I was building my website. And it was horrible, I've got to say. The sound wasn't great, the slides I created were pretty basic, everything was a bit makeshift. I looked really awkward, in front of the camera. But it was a start, right? It was a start. And that course went live in the March of 2017. And this is where I had my first big lesson. So I won't call it a failure. It was a lesson. And really, it came as a result of, being so enthusiastic and like driven with what I was doing, that I just wanted to get my first course out there. And I created and launched this course before I built my community. I mean, it's so obvious, right? And I should know this as a marketer, but I was just like, let's get the course out there. And I know that lots of you feel this way as well. Like, you just want to get the course done, you want to launch it before you've done the work to build your community. So it was a big lesson. And, it's just about, really, we need to rein ourselves in. So if we see ourselves as an eager beaver, we just need to rein ourselves in a little bit. And so I launched this course, and no one bought it because no one was there. So of course no one bought it. So then I refocused, and I really started just focusing on building my community. I believe that one of the biggest reasons that entrepreneurs fail, or they fail to reach their goals, is because they give up too soon. Okay, so, if we look at that scenario that I've just talked you through, I could have launched that and been like, oh, this isn't going to work. No one's seeing my messaging, no one's bought my course. I've gone through all of that, those couple of months of creating that online course. I've done all that work, no one's bought it. Obviously, I'm not good enough for this. Obviously, this isn't for me. I could have given up. And most people will do that. They'll see themselves as a failure in that moment, and they will give up. And they'll blame themselves, or they'll blame everything else. They'll blame, what's going on in the industry, or in the space, or in the economy. And so, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We don't want to give up when we're just starting. Sometimes you have to start slow in order to finish big. Like, you have to learn new skills, you have to hone them in, and you have to get the timing right. So I persevered, I continued, and in April of 2017, so I'm giving you a little bit of a timeline here, guys. So in April, I officially opened the Facebook group. This group now has 18,000 members, which is incredible, right? 18,000. It started with zero. And of course it started with zero. We all start from zero. But at the time, I was just, again, going all in. I was being active online with my content. I was, creating connections, building my network, offering my services for free, like with free trainings with partners, doing collaborations, doing everything I could to be seen, right? Having conversations on social where my ideal student, you guys, are hanging out. And this is something that can be replicated in every single niche, okay? So if you're listening right now and you're saying, well, that's not possible for me, like, that's an excuse. Right? It's an excuse, because your students, your potential paying students and your ideal clients, they're also online, they're in communities and they're inside networks. And really it's just your job to go out there and find them. So of course it takes hard work, grit, consistency, like, to make these things happen. It's never going to be just handed to you like that. It requires you to do the work. So April, I opened the doors, and by July, I hosted my first online challenge inside that Facebook group. And I used that challenge to launch a new course, which was on growing your email list with MailChimp. And around 350 people joined the challenge, okay? 350 people joined the challenge. And I made some money. I made my first bit of money. My first sales came in. I made 14 sales, or I had 14 sales, and I made around $1,300. Okay, so it was my first win. And it was a formula. I used a little formula that helped me to grow my community and make sales. And it's a formula that still works today. Only it's been refined, okay? Because I've done it again and again and again and again and again. And I've had many lessons, many lessons that have allowed me to tweak and optimize and change things up. And I'm going to talk to you more about some of these changes that I've made over the years that has got me to where I am right now. So that year, 2017, I also launched a course on branding. And so I had the website course, the email course, and the branding course. And, I was trying various launch methods. I tested out evergreen. I tested live launching. Like, this was very much a year of experimenting, right? Exploring, experimenting, being in the laboratory, trying lots of different things out, being messy, and not being afraid to make that mess. And it taught me so much. It really did. And what I began to realize is that having lots of different courses wasn't how I wanted to structure my business. For Digital Yoga Academy to really become the go-to for business education in the yoga space, or the yoga teacher training space, I needed a signature course, right? I needed a signature course that took my students through the framework that I myself had been refining. And so what I really needed was a program that solved the main problem that yoga teachers were facing. So that problem being, struggling to make money teaching yoga, lacking the skills, lacking the knowledge to build a profitable yoga business. And again, I tested a few things out. I had a course called Yoga Biz Accelerator, And, you know, I had a few different kind of variations of this program. And then in July 2018, I finally launched what it was going to be. And it's the Profitable Yoga Teacher program. You know, many of you are in this program or have been in this program. So that was July of 2018, and I launched the Profitable Yoga Teacher program for the very first time. And I had my first big launch. Okay, it was a 30K launch, $30,000 launch. And again, you know, just to really make sure it hits home, this was after a year of much trial and error, but I don't really want to even say the word error or failure because it's just lessons, right? Launching various mini courses, doing challenges, growing my community, doing research, really understanding the space, learning as much as I could, learning about launching, all of these things. Like as a marketer for the last for 15 years prior to actually starting this journey as an entrepreneur, I still had to hone in my business and marketing skills. So I was continuing to learn as I was building my network, getting my name out there, showing up, being consistent, all of these things. And you could say it was a bit of a hustle. As I said, I was doing this alongside my other yoga business. And, the year that I launched the Profitable Yoga Teacher was the year that I ran 10 yoga retreats. Like there was a lot of things going on. But, come 2018, I was more confident in what I was offering and what I was putting out there, and what I was creating. And, I tell my students this all the time, let it evolve. Let it evolve. Like get into creation mode, because whatever you create today, it might not be the same course that you're launching next year, and that's okay. But you'll only get to that if you start today. And so that's why, taking action is always going to be the answer. It's always going to be the answer. You getting yourself out there, you going with your gut and not staying stuck and procrastinating. You taking action is always going to be the answer. Like when you sit and procrastinate and you wait for perfection, because that's what we do, isn't it? We wait for perfection and then we tell ourselves that we're stuck, because we're not sure if this is the right idea or not. All you're doing is delaying the process. And that's it, really. That's all you're doing. So I was actually talking with one of my students earlier today in Messenger, and she said, practicing the process. And I love that because that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Shout out to Danny. She launched her course to a very small community. And she told me that she saw it as a practice run. She said, I'm practicing the process. And so it's true, isn't it? You have to practice the process. Like if you don't take action, you'll never know and you'll never evolve. And so that's one thing that I'll say I've definitely done, in the last 6 years, is that I've always taken action. Like I've always moved forward and, put my ideas out there to see how they land. Even when I don't know all the answers up front, the action gives you the answers. And so that's the beautiful thing about it. Does it work or not? Let's find out. What can I learn from this? And, with this approach, you never really see anything as a failure. You really don't. It's just a lesson. And I really believe that this mindset, I really believe that this is an essential mindset to have. It's definitely been a success factor in generating over $1 million in sales. I'm pinching myself again. And, I think for me, like one of the things that I've really kind of held to be true for some time now is that I decided that my business is growing and I decided that my business is thriving, right? I decided that that's what it is. It's growing and it's thriving. And what I wasn't doing was saying to myself, I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach those goals, Or, well, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to grow my community that much and get those sales. I didn't say those things to myself. And I think that makes a huge difference in that when you decide that they are your goals that you're working towards and that your business is thriving no matter what, you really start to embody that. And I think that's really important. When you decide something to be true, you show up. You bloody well make sure that it becomes true. Like, it may be true this year or it may be true next year, but you're going to keep on going until you get there. And so I really believe that energy that you have behind that decision you make makes the difference. It really does. So for some of you listening to this right now, you might be thinking, well, that's not going to happen to me. And what I say is, don't buy into that. If you tell yourself that, then that will be your reality. So, we all have different goals, right? We all have our own financial goals. Whatever your goal is, I invite you to stretch it a little bit. Stretch it. Go on, I dare you. And then just decide. Decide that you can do it and that it's happening. Remember that we all start from zero, big fat zero, right? I started from zero. My first launch, as I told you, was a big fat zero. And then I launched, the email course and made $1,300. I launched some smaller courses a few times. I had similar results. Then I had a smaller version of the Profitable Yoga Teacher, which was called Yoga Biz Accelerator. And I think I made 10 grand on that. And then the Profitable Yoga Teacher was born. The signature program, first launched 30K. I knew I was onto something. Second time, 60K. So I doubled my income. Third time, 130K. The next time after that, 200K. And it went on and on from there. I never gave up. I persisted. I was consistent. And these qualities, they're not unique to me, guys. Like, you can be persistent. You can be consistent. And, when you're coming from a place of service, then this persistence and consistency is an easier ride. Like, when you're coming from your heart, and I spoke about this in the beginning, wanting to share yoga around the world, that for me is part of my purpose, because I know the impact that it's had on my own life. And I want other people around the world to also have that experience. And so by supporting you guys to get your message out there, together we're able to do that. And so you have to really come from that place of purpose. Like, that's what's going to help you to keep showing up, when it feels like a slog and you're crying, because of course we all have tears, like I have them as well, it happens. Every time you level up, new challenges. And of course, they can hit you in the face and make the tears flow. I'm going to be real with you. But keep going, keep going. If you're coming from that place of purpose, you will keep going. You'll keep getting up every morning and doing it. I'm not saying you have to keep forcing yourself. You have to be easy on yourself as well. That's been one of my biggest lessons. Be easy on yourself, Kelly. Stop forcing yourself, It's coming. You've decided that it's coming. So stop forcing yourself and just allow yourself to be in more flow. That's been a big lesson for me over the last year, really, the last 12 months, to be more in my feminine flow. It's been a hard one. It's been a really hard one to embrace, but I am now. I'm embracing it. And I know that as I embrace that, more is coming to me. It's going to expand in new and exciting ways. And that's the beauty, isn't it, of building your own business, is that you get to go on this personal journey of self-development and growth as well. It's not just about the growth of your business, it's about the growth of you as a person as well. So much is possible. So much really is possible. And, you know, everything that you need to know is available to you. Like, you can learn all of this. You can learn how to grow your community. You can learn how to bring new students into your community. You can learn about marketing. You can learn, you know, what it really takes to launch successfully, what it really takes to be a profitable yoga business owner. All of these things are available to us. So, going back to offerings, because I want to talk a little bit more about that, the Profitable Yoga Teacher, you know, it's been one of our biggest successes. You know, it's a program that's resulted in many student successes. Like, you only have to go onto our Instagram and go to the videos, or go to the videos in the Facebook group. You can watch the testimonials, you can watch the case studies. I've done many interviews with our students, you know, students like Marilyn, who went on to generate a 6-figure business from her launches, 6 figures in a year. And that was just a couple of years after being in the Profitable Yoga Teacher program. There's Caroline, she had a 21K launch. Julia, recently a 20K launch, and she's messaged me today to say she's had 48 sales from her Black Friday sale, which was something like a 21% conversion rate. Like, amazing results. We've got Annie, you know, she had a 7K launch. Megan, 5K launch. Joanne, her last launch was 15K. Maria made 30K in a year. Claire had 2 10K launches in a row. It goes on and on. There's many success stories, and not just financial successes, like successes in terms of mindset shifts, you know, shifts in being able to get all the foundations in place, get systems in place, automations in place. All of these things are successes. My goal is that teachers come into our programs and they get to the finish line. So, you know, for the Profitable Yoga Teacher, they get their course out there, they create their course, and they make sales. You know, that is the outcome. Like, that's the transformation, you know, is to create and launch a profitable course. So, you know, going back to my own lessons, like, part of this journey to $1 million is about listening, right? It's about listening to your customers, and, you know, for us, listening to our students inside the programs and understanding, like, how are they behaving in the programs? What improvements do we need to make? You know, what can we do? What changes can we make? And what can we do to make sure that our students get to the finish line, and to ensure that they get to this transformation that we've promised? And, you know, over the last 4 years, like, since running the Profitable Yoga Teacher, like, we've made many tweaks. Right? The program's been recorded a couple of times. It's about to get a fresh update, you know, for the February intake. It's going to be all re-recorded, and, you know, we've made changes to the delivery of the program, many tweaks and changes to enhance the community experience that teachers get access to. And so, you know, I can safely say that we've done a pretty good job at developing the program, and we've had hundreds of teachers go through it now. So, you know, of course, not all of them have got to the finish line yet, and that's okay. Like, everyone goes at their own pace, and they have lifetime access. And what we do see is teachers coming back in again. Like, when new groups start, that kind of reignites teachers to come back in and to get back on track. And so, you know, we continue to create this environment that encourages that. And, you know, when I first created this program, I put everything into it. Okay, so I'm about to move on to another lesson. I put everything into the Profitable Yoga Teacher program. I put too much into it, like, too much. Like, it was a mistake, a little bit of a mistake. And, you know, obviously at the time, all I wanted to do was create the most amazing program. And, you know, I made this classic mistake that course creators make, and it's that I put too much into it. And of course, I didn't know this at the beginning, you know? I didn't know this at the beginning. But I started to discover it. And in 2020, when we had the pandemic, I created a live course called Super Yogi. So some of you will know this course. And it was just at the time when, it was April. So you guys had all been forced online and there was this great need for support. And so I ran this 5-day program called Super Yogi. And after the live program, I put it onto Evergreen. Super Yogi focused on what I teach in the first few modules of the Profitable Yoga Teacher. So fast forward to the end of 2021, I decided to phase out Super Yogi and create a new program called Yogipreneur Launchpad. And this program is aimed at new online yogipreneurs, okay? So maybe new yoga teachers or yoga teachers who had been teaching in yoga studios for a long time, but new online yogipreneurs who are just about to build their online community from scratch and want to learn about marketing. And so this replaced Super Yogi as a more comprehensive option. And essentially, it's the beginning part of the Profitable Yoga Teacher. What it meant is that I could then make a clear distinction with these two programs. Okay, so if you're new to the online space, Yogipreneur Launchpad, and if you are a little bit further along in your journey, you already have a community, you're ready to launch a course, the Profitable Yoga Teacher program. This, of course, makes it a better experience for the students that are in those programs, because they're surrounded by other teachers who are at the same stage as them. So Yogipreneur Launchpad was launched at the start of this year, 2022, and it's worked really, really well. We now have a program for the newbies. We have the Profitable Yoga Teacher program for those of you who are further on in your journey. And it's meant that our messaging is clearer, is more defined. Yogipreneur Launchpad also comes with the live support as well. So one thing that I noticed over the years is that those students that were in a program where there was live support were getting better results. And so I wanted to really shift the evergreen model so that you weren't on your own, but you had support from my team. And so you'll see that these changes, these key changes, they've happened over the space of 4 or 5 years, and they've increased sales. Like, we've had more sales as a result. And this is why I say, don't be fooled into thinking that when you create your first online course, it's going to be the same one that you're launching a year from now. Likely it won't be. It won't be. And the key thing is that you start. You have to start. And when you start and you take action, you'll keep making better decisions. And those decisions will help you to make better sales. Okay? So it's really about, getting laser focused on what you're offering. What does that offering look like? It's your offering that brings in the sales, okay? That's where you're going to make the money. Like, aside from building your community and creating sales funnels and having a steady stream of people joining your community through all of your marketing activities, all of that stuff you're going to learn, right? You're going to learn, of course, and you need to learn it. It's essential. But besides all of that, it's your offerings. It's those memberships, online courses, programs, workshops, retreats, whatever it is that you're offering. That's ultimately what's bringing in the money, right? That's ultimately what's going to bring the money through the door. So it's essential that you get it right. And, that's been a big focus for me, refining that offering. Each year has been some big changes with the offering, big shifts, changes, refining, making it better for us, making it better for you, making it better for our students so that you have a better experience. So really, it's about not being afraid to make big decisions. I had to make a huge decision, splitting the content of the Profitable Yoga Teacher program to create a new program. But ultimately, that came from listening to our students and really witnessing their actions and what they were doing in the program and the feedback that we were getting. Listening to that feedback and acting on it and not being afraid to do that. Making sure that Your offering is providing a solution to the same problem. Yeah, ultimately that's what it's about, isn't it? You must be providing a solution to the same problem, and then creating, a range of offerings. A product suite is what I call it, and it's something that I teach inside the Profitable Yoga Teacher. I teach teachers how to create this product suite of offerings that provide a solution to the same problem. So do the work, guys. If you are new with all of this, if what I've been talking about today is a little bit over the head, it's okay. Like, we all start from zero, as I've talked about, but really do the work to understand who you're serving. Like, what is the problem that you are solving? And over time, months and years, as you build your business and all of this evolves because you're taking the action that I've talked about today, you'll start to also build up this suite of different offerings. Maybe you'll have an online membership, right? Maybe you'll have a short online course, then you'll create a group program, then you'll have some kind of one-to-one support, you'll have online workshops. Whatever it is, like, these things will evolve over time. So just know that when you do this, the numbers stack up, right? They really do. They stack up. And you're not just going to launch these things once. You're going to launch them again and again and again. The more you show up, and as long as you don't give up, right? As long as you don't give up, you can grow your community more. You can get more students, right? You can get more members in your membership. You can get more students signing up to your online course. All of this is going to build up, and it's exactly what I've done in Digital Yoga Academy. It's exactly what I've done. There's an offering at each price point, at each level of your business, from beginners through to yoga business owners who are further on, who would benefit more from a mastermind offering. Like, we have something for each stage. It's really about building up this collection, let's say, of different offerings to serve your students at different points in their journey. And I've been sharing today the journey over the last 5 or 6 years, building Digital Yoga Academy, generating over $1 million in online sales from our courses and programs. And of course, it doesn't come without the challenges. But as I said, like, when you've gone through challenges, you approach them with a new level of sophistication. Yeah, every time you level up, there'll be new things to face, and that really is just part of the journey as an entrepreneur. I think ahead to 2023, and I'm excited about what's to come. I know that we're going to be focusing on new areas. Like, it's going to be a very interesting year for me and my team, because we're bringing in a whole new focus, which is super exciting. And we've been making many changes in the team to really welcome in this new focus. I have some big goals, and I think, wow, if I can do this, what I've done so far, then I can definitely do what I'm working towards. Like, I can make it happen, and I will go for that in 2023. And, if we don't reach it, I'm okay. I'm okay with that, because I've already decided what I was talking about before, making that decision that your business is thriving. And I've already decided that my business is thriving, and we're going for that goal. So we'll keep going for it until we get there. And, I'm okay with that. I'm building a business like you guys. You're building a business that's sustainable, that's going to keep running for years to come. Okay, and this is my journey. It comes with my own lessons, so I don't need to compare myself to anyone else, just like you don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. Just stay in your lane, guys. Stay in your lane and keep going. Yeah, I invite you to do that and get the support you need. I've got to where I am today with support from coaches and mentors and being in masterminds. I've invested a lot of money into all of that. I've been in a mastermind that's cost me 20 grand. Yeah, and that's fine because I was surrounded by, seven-figure entrepreneurs who were making big things happen in their businesses. And there's, something that happens. There's something magical when you put yourself in a space like that. The inspiration, the ideas, the drive, the motivation that comes from that. And so, you being in this community means that you have the opportunity to also get support. We have programs for you. You've learned about these programs today. So, fill the knowledge gaps. If you have knowledge gaps, don't sit there being stuck and procrastinating. Fill the knowledge gaps and get yourself on that path, get yourself in your lane. You can do it. So reach out to us if you have any questions about any of the programs that I've shared with you today. Yogipreneur Launchpad, the Profitable Yoga Teacher, the Visionary Mastermind. Reach out to us if you have any questions about these programs, guys. And today, a big reminder, and I know lots of you are on our email list, so you'll know this already, but a big reminder is today is the final day to take advantage of our gratitude gifts, benefits and discounts. Okay, so this is our version of Black Friday, but I don't like saying Black Friday. I don't know why, I just don't really like that. So it's gratitude gifts. That's what we're sharing with you, to share our gratitude to you for being part of this community. And today is the last day to really take advantage of those benefits and discounts that are available. So I've shared loads today. I'm going to leave it there and just say, if I can do this, you can too. You just need to give yourself permission, right? To be bold, to be brave, to stop capping yourself, to stop capping your potential with all the fears and the resistance, and to stop telling yourself that this isn't working and that's not working and all of the excuses that you're telling yourself, right? Stop doing that, because guess what? If you do that, it's not going to work, So stay in your lane, stay focused, be part of a community that's doing this and on this journey too. And trust yourself, guys, because you can do this. You really can. Thank you so much for being here with me. Any questions, please reach out to us. We're here to support you. Sending you so much love. Bye-bye. See you soon.